Hi guys, on this show we're looking at Williams, Martin, Harden, Hardison, Farrell, Perez, Snipes and Harrelson. We're looking at 1982's White Men Can't Jump.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of your favourite film podcast with the facts and the laughs and the Scottish man. It's 100 Things We Learned from Film. I'm one of your hosts, my name's Plenty, and I'm going to keep your mama out, but I just need to know what time we need the bitch back.
And I'm the other guy, and I'm always in a 3-pointer, only because I've got the height.
3-pointer, eh? That's
Three-pointer,
the old
big
Eiffel
man.
Tower in your house. Oh, la la!
Old NBA Jam terminology there, big man. NBA Jam.
Straight
for
from
all those-
downtown!
Loved that fucking game. Loved it.
John, how are you?
What a bit for seeing your beautiful wee face.
Wow. Isn't it going to be a fun episode?
With even a word being said, yes.
This week, of course, the 100 Things We Learned from Film podcast spun the wheel for this person's choice, and it is friend of the podcast and real life human being friend, at least one of us has met him, Dan Belson. Hello.
Hello, it's me, Dan Belson, real life person.
Either that or you did spend the whole time that I met you sat on your brother's knee with his hand missing. Are you some sort of ventriloquist puppet?
We have worked on that for years. Don't give the secrets away, all right?
I thought it was AI, but it's more like a superficial intelligence.
Jesus Christ!
Hold the intelligence.
Dan Belson from the super familiar with the bell. No, it isn't. I've done it again.
Oh,
I've done it again.
God.
It's a trap. It's a
I've
trap.
done it again.
Ow.
You just intertwined, stupid American London people.
Always doing shows together. That's why.
I know, yeah. From the Be There with Belson podcast, it is not your first visit to these shores. In fact, you were our first ever podcaster guest, I think, wasn't he, John?
Ding, ding,
Was
ding.
I really?
Yeah, I don't know
you
why
were.
How did that
we
happen,
plugged
eh?
for you. I've no idea how it came about at all.
That bell fact will always stick in my head.
Oh,
I think I brought one fact to the show, and the rest of the time I was thinking, this is going on a bit.
I mean, that's exactly what the listeners do, so it's fine. Why not? Speaking of going on
I was less than prepared, let's say that.
on the subject of going on a bit, why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast?
Be There with Belson is a podcast I do with my brother Gavin. It involves topics of the week, a question of the week, an argument of the week normally when it comes to quizzes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's a news podcast, I would charitably call it. You generally talk about what's gone on in the week of the news previously, and often, listeners, if you haven't listened, I don't know what you're doing. Dan will have no idea what's going on. Like me, with not knowing the names of any actors, Dan just doesn't know anybody, unless it's an impression he can do, which is probably about 6 people.
Of
Oh, name
Nelson-
him, I'll do it right now.
Of Nelson Mandela. I love it.
Or lovingly
That is my
referred
best.
to as Belson Mandela. There you go. Anyway, what did you pick for us this week? When the wheel landed on your name, you knew exactly what you were picking, right?
I was between two. Now, things people say about me, Dan, you haven't watched many films, you've missed a lot of the big ones. But the films I have seen, I've watched many times. So I was between The Castle and this bad boy I've chosen this week, White Men Can't Jump.
The Castle, man, I saw that in Australia, would you believe? I
Really?
love The Castle. It's a great
Great
film.
film.
Eric
is,
Bernard's debut, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, why did you pick that? No, of course. This, of course, is a great choice. Because what it does is it finally brings us back onto American territory. It finally brings us back to Hollywood films, because the last couple of episodes, Dan, of course, you've listened to them both because you know the film so well. Nosferatu
Absolutely.
and Breaking Glass were a little off-piste.
field?
Yeah, a little left field, John. Absolutely. So, what's your relationship with this one, other than having seen it more than probably any other film?
I remember as a kid, I was fascinated by NBA basketball. We used to show it a little bit over here, and I used to love it. And I thought, and then this film came along, and everyone was talking about it at school. Now I rewatch it, and I think I was probably too young to be watching some of this movie. But hey, you see a tit, you know?
Exactly.
I can see a couple, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's John. You went to the cinema to see this?
Yeah, yep. I was into, as soon as I had my NBA Jam fix, I was into anything that had basketball in it, and I'm actually a bit of a fan of Woody Harrelson because my idol's obviously Ted Danson for Cheers, so that's where I got all my moves. So
you and him share a forehead,
and maybe a bowl touch at your back.
There you go, John. Now there's an interesting question. What was your basketball team in the 90s?
Oh God, we'll just sell out Lakers and it's Glory Hunter.
Okay,
Just
all right.
Glory
Okay.
Hunter.
Dan.
Was and still is the Phoenix Suns.
Oh right! Oh wow! Fantastic.
Yeah.
Of course, because I knew nothing about basketball, I got lumbered with the team that everyone that knows nothing about basketball, the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, because everyone had that T-shirt, didn't he, with the beach thing at the back?
Mate, I had a Charlotte Hornets shell suit top. Oh yeah, boy!
Oh, now we're
Oh
talking.
man, I
All
wish I
right.
could find one of those right now. Rachel would never go out with me.
The Sting suit. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Right, okay. Yeah, so this is the podcast where we're trying to learn 100 things. So we're going to go through the movie, loads of spoilers, hopefully a couple of laughs to keep you interested. And we're going to come up with some facts which hopefully will help you in a pub quiz. If you like what we do, you can do what Dan does and give us a quid a month. He gets put on the wheel. Well, he gets taken off the wheel now. Unlucky. And other people are going to get spun. So give us a quid a month and we will shout you out as well in every episode. So that's 100 things we learn from film.co.uk for all of our links, as well as patreon.com/100 things film. That's film, but in Scottish.
Foam.
Gentlemen, are you ready to ruin this film for the people that like it?
Gladiators ready.
Absolutely.
Smashing. Okay. So we open with the 20th Century Fox theme, but it's slightly different.
With a difference.
Oh
I like
my jazzy 20th Century Fox theme.
Did you love it?
I did. Oh, mate, I was
really did.
well into it. I completely forgot. I haven't seen this movie in over 20 years, maybe over 25 years.
Yeah. No,
And man, it just brought me straight back. And I thought,
I got a first question.
Oh.
Wasn't it just? Isn't that the normal theme? Or
No. Oh, jeez. No. The normal theme was written by Alfred Newman and composed in 1933.
Newman.
So you know. Newman. But yeah, that was
Right,
a
okay.
sexy sax version, wasn't
It was a sexy Saxman version. I almost wanted to get greased up and do it on a pier.
On a beach.
Yeah, exactly. This movie itself made 90 million off of a 31 million budget, which explains, surely, why Money Train is a thing. Money Train. I've never seen it.
Don't.
Is it bad?
I've seen it. It's no good.
Is it? Have you seen it, Dan? Money Train?
absolutely not. No.
We'll add it to the list. Right. We've got Woody Harrelson who arrives. He's called Billy, isn't he? Billy. And he arrives at Venice Beach in his lovely car.
Yep. Do you want a car?
I would fucking love the car, John. Because last time we did a car, I did the car and you went, oh, I can't believe you've done the car. So I've spent the last 3 days singing, please do the car, please do the car.
So, Woody Harrelson's is a 1975 Chevy Nova.
All right.
And just so I don't need to go back to this, Snipes drives a 1981 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, which obviously we all knew.
Ooh, I can hear it. I can hear that. Yeah. Great.
Beautiful.
I love these old boys singing at Venice Beach. They're all dead, by the way. I looked them up. Each and every one of them did.
I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not either.
Well, I looked up the most famous buskers. Did you do this as well?
No.
Everybody does it. It's that bloody Jesus-looking guy. His name is Harry Perry. So it's like the rollerblading Jesus. Do you know see him at the beginning?
No.
Oh, what? So he's
The guy out of Bob's Burgers.
he's in a lot of films. So he was a famous resisting busker and roller skates Venice Beach. He was also known as Karma Cosmic Crusade.
Of course he fucking was.
Nah, so he was. Other famous buskers were Peter, Damien.
Two first names?
They were all two first names. And that was all I could find because I was trying to find out who these old guys were. I just know they're dead.
Yeah, they're just singing musicians.
They're dead.
If you take anything from this, those people are dead.
Yeah.
You must respect
There's
that.
no dogs
there
in
was
the
a dog-
film, so we can't
No,
do
there
that.
was a dog that passed, and I thought, when he said that dog's dead.
I didn't miss that bit. He tells them that he's going to be the best to play here. He asks directions. He gives them $1 tip. $1? He gave us $1. Well, we'll give him $1's worth, and they give him this little kind of scat bit, don't they? Not scatological, but you know.
See the bit at the beginning. Did you notice they were talking? There was a bit of ADR through at the beginning, and they were talking about Presbyterians. Did you hear that?
No. What version
So
was
there's
I
like
watching?
it's like a radio. It's like remember SSX Tricky where they would have like a
do.
sort of
Yeah,
radio
yeah.
bit. Well, at the beginning of this film, when you see the original Beach, there's somebody talking through it, and they're talking about Presbyterians.
Oh, right, okay.
So I looked this up. Presbyterians is a president who belongs to a church governed by a representative assembled by elders. The word Presbyterian comes from the Greek word. I'm not even going to say that, but it just means elder. Woody Harrelson was brought up in a Presbyterian household.
Oh,
So
right.
he's definitely not Irish.
Oh, yeah, that's a later on. Fantastic. Good work. He arrives at Muscle Beach, the birthplace of the United States physical fitness boom, which started in 1934 with predominantly gymnastics activities on the south side of Santa Monica Pier.
Oh.
Yeah, people are strange when you're a stranger.
No, hi.
This one, however, is called Muscle Beach Venice. The outdoor weightlifting platform constructed 18 years after Muscle Beach was established. Today, it's an open playground with a gated area that includes weightlifting equipment. The second area is a sandbox with gymnastics, rope climbing and acrobatic bars, and the city charges a fee to use the gym. Of course, we know two gentlemen at least who used that gym, and that was Arnold and the Hulk.
I'm sure Chevy Chase used it in one of the movies.
Does he?
I'm sure he was on I'm sure he was in Venice Beach at some point at the gym.
Is it Fletch squats? That would be interesting. The song that the gentlemen are singing is called Just a Closer Walk with Thee, and it's a traditional gospel number. The title and lyrics of the song allude to the biblical passage from 2 Corinthians, which states, "We walk by faith, not sight," and James 4:8, "Come near to God and he will come near to you." Ooh la la.
Oh, God. I'll keep away, thanks.
There's an offer.
That's what Zeus used to do a lot, didn't it? Come down as a swan and jizz on your tits. I don't know. No one knows who wrote it. It seems to date back before the Civil War for all the various things I've read. First known recording was by Cellar Jubilee Singers on October the 8th, 1941. It has been recorded by far too many people, but the ones that I've heard of were Patsy Cline, Louis Armstrong, Dr. John, not a real doctor, the Seekers, Ike and Tina, Van Morrison, and Willie Nelson, not a real Willie. There you go.
Surely Elvis did a version. He stole everything, didn't he? He must have done.
I mean, the thing was, he was just doing what Colonel Tom was doing anyway. Colonel Tom was stealing from him, so he was stealing from black folk. You know what I mean? Classic Elvis. Classic. Let's get back to the movie, shall we? I love his get-up, by the way. This hat makes him look like he's Marty McFly Jr.
Right, Back to the Future. That's exactly something that's like. That's exactly what that
I think
is.
he's going to watch Jaws 33 and a half or whatever it is.
And the T-shirt as well. When I was watching it, I was thinking, I want to get that T-shirt.
I nearly looked one up, but didn't indeed. Listeners, if you've not seen the movie, what the fuck are you doing listening to this? But it's a parental advisory sticker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Launched in 1990, and it was first on the 2 Live Cruise album, Banned in the USA, which is a fucking misnomer, because obviously it must have been released to have this sticker. By May 1992, approximately 225 records have been marked with the warning. Later in the day, there's a game going on. Sydney's team versus Walters. Loads of great trash talk in here. Sydney's really good. I don't mean to brag, but I'm the greatest. It's hard goddamn work making you look so bad. Is this our favourite Woody Harrelson film? Question mark.
Ooh.
This definitely for me.
It's close.
Or
It's definitely.
Zombieland as well.
Well, we did Zombieland previous episode, so this is our second Woody Harrelson. What about, is this our favourite Sydney film? Is this our favourite Blade film? Because we've done Blade.
I've got to say yes. What else?
What else indeed? One of those expendable movies?
Demolition Man?
Demolition Man is definitely... I like Demolition Man more than this.
Yeah,
but that's because I like Snipes in that. I think Snipes is given a lot more as that particular... Simon Phoenix? Yeah, Simon Phoenix with the ginger hair.
He had a good look there, didn't he?
It's such a good look. Such a good look.
It was like a negative Blade, wasn't it?
Indeed it is. If you could count, you'd be an astronaut. He says. And this is your mama's an astronaut, which I absolutely love. And then a little bit later on, he tells Billy Hoyle. He says your mama's an astronaut. He says something along the lines of
my mum's too drunk to be.
Yeah, my mum was too drunk to be. Funnily enough, my mum was too racist to be an astronaut.
No, they let racists be an astronaut. Don't be silly.
Do they?
Yeah,
I mean, they
of course
certainly
they
did
do.
in the 60s.
Yeah, encouraged.
Jesus. Sidney talks to Billy. Yo, Chump, what's the score? He says, my name ain't Chump, it's Billy Hoyle. And then he does this amazing white boy accent. Well, Billy Hoyle. It's really good. I love. Rhonda, Sid's wife, comes for $20 because the check bounced getting groceries. Man, remember paying with checks. The Peter Kay podcast is back, baby. I don't think I ever paid for shopping with a cheque, but I'll tell you what I did do. I paid for pints back in the day, the night before I got paid, with my cheque guarantee card.
Oh,
£100, boy, on that Shakespeare image on the back. You know what I'm talking about. Cheque guarantee cards, gentlemen, were first tested in the United Kingdom in 1965 and fully introduced in 1969. You could pay for 69s with your cheque guarantee card. And there's plenty of bouncing going on there, boys. The scheme was phased out in 2011. Oh, the cheque guarantee card, not 69 in. I assume that still goes on. I don't know. I'm married.
Wouldn't know. Are checks still a thing? Do people still pay with checks?
Oh, Peter Kay's here. Look.
Yeah, I just like to know.
No, they do.
Yeah, no, it still exists, but you have to ask your bank for one. We've done this before. You have to ask your bank for a checkbook.
The only thing I remember paying for with checks back in the day when I first started using eBay, and I used to send checks off for stuff.
So did I.
Yeah, it's like, fucking hell.
I remember getting my provisional driving licence by sending a cheque to Swansea. It was the only way you could get it back in the day. They didn't accept any payments other than a cheque.
Those Welsh, what are they up to, eh?
I know.
Welsh cakes.
Yeah, I love it.
Drinking Beaujolais one weekend of the year. Now, that is very niche Welsh talk. Anyway, somebody suggests you only eat a potato sandwich. And I couldn't remember what it was. You eat potato sandwiches. And I was like, I bet Dan likes a potato sandwich. Being vegan.
Hey, carbs on carbs. I love it.
I found two results, right? An aloo sandwich, which of course is potato curry, but in toasted bread. How good does that sound?
I've had that before. Delicious.
Have you really? It does sound
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And now, the thing that annoyed me the most in my research for this podcast, for some utterly bonkers reason, every article that I could find on a crisp sandwich is known as a Nigella sandwich.
What?
Because apparently poor people aren't
sandwich?
represented on the internet, but tidy posh telly chefs are.
Well, there you go.
Apparently, she once said she really liked, on TV, she said she likes a crisp sandwich, so they call it a Nigella sandwich.
That's pish, man.
And she also says microwave instead of microwave.
I mean, but we say microwave in our house now because of that, so maybe we start calling it a Nigella sandwich. Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Nigella. You've been Nigella.
You've yeah.
Oh, they're playing in front of the Cadillac Hotel, which is still there, by the way.
Oh, right.
So,
Oh, we've got some hotel chat coming up on this podcast. I like that.
Yeah.
We get some really good Yo Mama jokes here. There's the one I used to use a lot, which was Yo Mama's so fat when she fell over, instead of blood, she bled gravy, which I've always kind of liked. And then later on, there's Yo Mama so stupid it takes her 2 hours to watch 60 minutes. Yeah, okay. Yo Mama jokes got replaced by what's his name from the Cannon movie jokes very quickly, didn't they?
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris jokes. Chuck Norris
Jesus.
jokes. There we go. Yeah, they got replaced.
Did you know the director asked the actors to bring their own Your Mama jokes?
Oh, really? Oh, right. That's good.
And the actor who played Junior actually reached out to rapper Biz Markie, for some of his best jokes.
Fantastic.
There you go.
And his one single song.
Absolutely.
Ron Shelton, the director, that's Academy Award nominated Mr. Shelton to you oiks. Wrote and directed Bull Durham, based on his own experience in the game. Shelton played minor league with the Bluefield Orioles, the Stockton Ports, not the Stockton-on-Tees Ports, the Florida Instructional League Orioles, it's a catchy name,
What?
the Dallas-Fort Worth Spurs, and the Rochester Red Wings. Why are there so many teams called Orioles in America? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. He also wrote Bad Boys 2, which of course is the best one.
Yeah.
No spoilers. Haven't seen it yet, so hold on.
Oh. Well, you'll be disappointed.
Well, that ruined that,
You'll be
then.
disappointed for us to tell you that they return to be bad boys.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
And the question is, Dad, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when they come for you?
How bad are these boys?
Oh, they're the baddest. Well, no, they're
Nah,
not, because they're just bad boys. Otherwise, it'd be called
Right.
baddest boys.
There's badder boys out there.
There's
Bad old men.
bad dad.
He also done Cobb and Tin Cup.
Oh, mate,
Yeah,
Tin Cup's a great
Kim
movie. Costner and
Yeah.
Rennie Russo. Golf
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it's right into your sports, that boy, isn't he?
Yeah, only sports movies. Yeah. Sidney picks Billy as the opposition's replacement because Walter quits because, quote unquote, bunions. Come on, mate, you're like 30. With his teammates not happy about it because he's white. It turns out Billy is good. When he gets told his mother was an astronaut, he does my mum was too drunk. Billy's team wins and he challenges Sidney to a shoot-off, $62. But Sid has to borrow $20 off Junior. And Junior says, "Oh, I thought we were going to go to Sizzler." He says, "When we win, we're going to go to Sizzler, surf and turf," which I quite liked. Sizzler, American Steakhouse, launched in 1958. They had a wild 2020. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, citing impacts of COVID-19 pandemic, namely forcing it to temporarily close its restaurants' dining rooms. The company also cited problems paying rent. Now, when you're a struggling business, gentlemen, obviously business-minded lads like yourselves,
Yeah.
with little money, what is the next thing you do?
Steal somebody else's idea and flog it.
That's quite a good idea, yeah.
Get Gordon Ramsay in.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that's absolutely what I do. But what they chose to do was during the COVID-19 pandemic, the company experimented with the use of robotic waiters in the dining room.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. To minimise physical contact between customers and restaurant staff.
Fucking hell.
Of course, the robots went absolutely fucking crazy and beheaded people. You would
Yeah,
anticipate,
the future has arrived.
they do loads of surf and turf options, which is steak and seafood. I couldn't get any prices because their website's broken. The closest one to this court is Culver City. It's about a mile and a half away.
Surf and turf. Shake and
Shake
bake.
and bake. Billy puts all his away, and Sidney misses the last one under pressure. Billy walks away with the cash to "I Feel Good" by James Brown.
I can get you one of those Ladefi retro caps for $7.99 if anybody
It's the
wants
very
one.
least you could do.
Absolutely. We can wear them all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't look weird at
sportdown.com.
all. That won't look like we're on some sort of sightseeing tour of London.
While they're
Two of the weirdos.
while they're shooting, having their shoot off, of course, Junior says about Sidney's shot that it's a thing of beauty, and he said, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever." My man
Yeah.
John Keats says that. John Keats from the opening line of his poem Endymion, of course.
Oh, wow.
Of course. Yeah.
Love a bit of Keats, me.
You love the keys.
First published 1818.
My favourite poet, probably Spike Milligan, though. About the same.
My favourite poet's Big Steve in my local pub. He just
Yeah.
writes it all on the wall of the toilet. Yeah. I've got his number if you want a good time.
Absolutely.
Seabass!
This is the look of the Irish. It's all the look of the Irish, except I'm not Irish. Oh, well, we finally found the first American that isn't. I Got You, I Feel Good by James Brown. Ow! 1965 single in the 12-bar blues. Made its number 29 in the UK and 3 in USA. Oddly, 1992 it hit 49 in the Stupid Sexy Flanders Ultra Pop chart, but nowhere else.
What?
Fuck knows what was going on in Belgium at the time.
Must have been a film with
This.
that in the soundtrack.
This. Maybe. The version we heard in the film is 1975 release, which also features on Rock Band 3 and a game with the brilliant title Don King Presents Prize Fighter. Don King presents stealing money from lads who just want to box. Stealing money from boys from the ghetto. The Don King story. It's also used in an animation test for the 2001 film Shrek, which came out in 1996.
Jesus.
So 5 years before the film came out, they had an animation test out. Of course, John, it's not very often we say this, previous live show.
Yeah.
There we go. At his apartment, he's bought his girlfriend Gloria groceries. Now, what do we feel about Gloria and the actress or actor Rosie Perez?
She didn't really do much, did you?
What, in this? Well, she does enough for me, mate. I'll tell you.
No, I blame this, but I didn't really see her in much else. She wasn't really like after this. I thought she'd been a lot more things, but I don't really.
Was she not the friend in that one where Nicolas Cage wins the lottery?
With the ticket,
Yeah.
She's that, but that's you'd expect more than that.
Yeah, the last thing I saw her doing was she was commentating on like a Jake Paul boxing match or something.
Bloody
What?
hell!
He was like the third commentator on that or something. Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus.
That's me getting him mixed up again with the bloke out of Breaking Bad. It was great. Yeah. I do that on a regular basis. Don't I? In fact, I think the last time I did that, you pointed out that I did that.
Yeah.
She's reading the World Almanac because Rosie Perez is beautiful and smart. Not so sure about what's going on with this accent, though.
Yeah, it's about there's no consistent as well. It's something didn't like
Yeah, funnily enough, in discussion with your brother Dan, I was told to ask for your Rosie Perez impression.
Well, no problem at all. I'll just bash it out right now. Come on, Willie! Just like that.
Done. Jeez, and he's not even embarrassed about it either.
Spot on. It's
Quite happy
spot
with
on. In my head, it's spot on, so that's all that matters.
It's pretty good. It is. It's certainly 7 out of 10 minimum.
The World Almanac has been the best-selling American reference book of all time.
Oh.
It's sold more than 83 million copies, and it's been gone for over 150 years.
All right, okay. I found a copy on eBay of this one, the 1993 one, £5.82. There you go.
What about the sports almanac?
That's what we need.
All right.
Getting right, we do. In your job, Dan, you would get in a lot of trouble. So she's reading up on stuff. I'm not entirely sure. We don't know at this point why she's reading up on stuff. But we do know that they're saving money because they owe some gangsters $7,000.
The Squidgy Brothers?
The Squidgy Brothers, indeed. The Squeegee Brothers. They made their money doing windows. We'll more on them shortly because I've got a lot of questions about the Squidgy Brothers. We learned that she's studying for Jeopardy. And again, I'm sure we'll be coming back to that at some point. We learn the biggest number is infinity, and when she asks how much he loves her.
Is it really?
Well, I found a Gogol miss, which is actually a 1 followed by 11 zeros.
I got 100 zeros.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So a goggle is blah, 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 and there's a goggleplex, which is 1 followed by a goggle zeros raised by 10.
That's the lads that sit around watching telly programmes and talking about it.
Goggle flumps.
What about a goggleplex plus 2? What about that?
Well, that's like infinity plus 2. So there isn't such thing as infinity because you can always add 1 on the end.
He gets in the shower and there's a knock at the door. They're worried it's the gangsters, but it's just Sid. He's followed him here on business. He wants to make some money and they could hustle. There's a 2-on-2 with a cash prize, but he thinks that they can hustle before that, much in the same way as before. Sidney and the boys are losing to these massive motherfuckers, by the way. Is he called Rodney? I love Rodney so much.
I'm going to get my gun and shoot you all. That's brilliant.
He agrees to let him pick anybody and for the bet to be 500 quid. And of course they pick the chump.
Yeah.
And the line is, no. White boys don't count. It's just like, you're almost there. That's almost the title of the movie. And this big motherfucker heads to get his $500 from the car, but instead he grabs a piece of the ski mask and holds up the shop round the corner. And the guy's like, Raymond, is that you? He ends up selling his piece for $250. And his line is, all right, but now you're robbing me. Fucking bravo for whoever wrote that line.
That was good.
Do we know what gun that was that you had?
Definitely, didn't need to look up as a Smith and Wesson.
Thought you'd have it.
Fucking hell, John! I was the one that was going to get radicalised 4 years ago.
Just by the handle.
You're basically American at this point.
Yep. Whoa. Yes, I am.
I've got to be honest, though, you should see what he eats in a day. He's definitely American. There's no doubt about that. It's just oil. It's just gasoline. It's pouring it down his gullet.
It'd just be paraffin, but no, it's real gasoline.
But you would do if it was as cheap as it is in America. They win. Raymond pulls this flick razor, by the way, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
On Sidney. Yeah. Billy admits he knows Sid. And there's this little bit where Sidney's like, he jumps and he said, yeah, go on, kill this white motherfucker. Okay. They make a run for it when Roger grabs his gun. In the car, Billy puts on Jimi Hendrix, which is Purple Haze. 1967 song, 65 in the USA, 17 in West Germany, 11 where, John?
The Netherlands.
Yes, it's there.
Oh, my throat's sore.
It's good. And number 7 in the Lars Bohinen Norwegian chart. There you go. Q Magazine ranked it 250 on its 2021 500 greatest songs of all time.
Yeah. Oh, I need to go back to this because I'll end up forgetting
Go for it.
A good quality foot on is good, but it's got to be like a traditional Japanese one with a firm mattress for it to be beneficial to your back.
Oh, fantastic work! Yeah, because he says, yeah, this, the bed's nice, but you should get a quality foot on for your back, doesn't he? Yeah, good point.
And at that time, I thought mine was rubbish, but no, apparently if you get a proper one, then it does align your spine.
Mine was just a cheapo IKEA one.
Aye, I think mine was at a DER.
Sidney explains white people can't hear Jimmy. Gloria says, what are you talking about? His drummer was white. Yes, his drummer was a guy called Mitch Mitchell. So good they named him twice. Ranked number 8 in Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 100 greatest drummers of all time.
And he came from Ealing, which is not too far from me.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, good stock.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's the comedy. Billy puts on a different tape, and he says, this guy's the greatest troubadour of our time. At no point does he actually tell us who it is.
No.
It's a guy called George Jones, and the song is called He Stopped Loving Her Today. We've done enough music, so I didn't go deep into that. They drop Sidney at Vista View. We'll save the Vista View line till later on because I got questions. Billy explains he knows people like Sidney, that he has the big chain at the expense of things for his family, which seems a little bit of a fucking dig for a guy that you're working with and you've only just really met. Heading back to the apartment, Billy puts on Ray Charles's Careless Love, which apparently is Gloria's favourite song, and makes her want to shag him in the car while he's driving.
Gets very sexy at this point, doesn't it?
I mean, we see a boob. We certainly see a boob.
She gets on top in the car, and Billy's like, I believe in safe sex. Now, who else believes in safe sex? Of course, disgraced radio DJ Tim Westwood. He would often say, wrap it up before you slap it up.
Wow!
It was his way of saying, use a condom, guys. Wrap it up before you slap it up.
Use a condom before you sexually assault a woman. Okay. Of course, disgraced for that very same reason. Also, really fucking lanky and much older than you think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But,
Awful bastard.
I know.
Yeah. And the big dog. Man, I've just remembered. Absolutely. Joe, I know you're listening to this. We've got to do the British Pimp My Ride. Possibly the first episode where they pimp a hearse. This goth guy, they pimp his hearse. It's phenomenal.
Make it happen.
Hallmark of greatness, listeners, if you want to get on that, because that's the kind of shit we do over there. The next morning, she tells him she's thirsty. Now, in our house, we hated this because this is the most stupid fucking bollocks I've ever known in my entire life. And Rachel agreed. Rachel's like, if I say I'm thirsty, gonna get us a drinker. He grabs her a glass of water. She says if she's thirsty, she doesn't want a drink. She instead wants him to sympathise with her.
But bear in mind, just hang on a second. Bear in mind it was the 90s, right? Yeah. And bear in mind they had Cosmo and all that sort of thing. Yeah. So it really was about. So they had all these fucking stupid questionnaires, and it was about how you should be treated, and a lot of it was about the sort of touchy-feely and I'm a woman, but I want to be treated as it was just all bullshit.
Okay.
Not from that point of view, but they were all exactly the same.
There's a lot
And I
to be
fucking
cut
hate
there, John. I got to be honest.
No.
There's a lot to be cut there.
Bear
Because
in mind,
people will take that out of context, and you're getting shit through the door.
Basically, women's needs,
don't
all
care.
bullshit, isn't it? All bullshit, women's
No,
needs.
the magazines were bullshit.
See these women.
No.
Women, know your place.
No, here's my point. The whole thing about the whole if I'm thirsty, fucking get me water.
Just get us. Look, if I say I'm
Get us water.
thirsty, I want a beer. Simple as that.
If you got a glass of water, I'll happily take a sip, you know?
There you go.
Just don't sympathise with me.
No, I don't want.
Just don't
I want
sympathise.
sympathy. I want empathy. It's 2025, motherfuckers. Billy heads out. He's basically leaving, isn't he? He's like, "Fuck you, you nutcase." Everybody in this is badly written, but everybody in this is written to just be an arsehole. Every character. There is nobody in this with redeeming features. Not even Junior. Not even Alex Trebek has any redeeming features. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. He heads down the alley and the gangsters find them. He warns Gloria and they cheese it out the back window and down the alley, chased by the mafia, who in a A-team van?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Seems like it.
Yep, a brown 18 van.
They managed to get away and make it to the Ocean Breeze Hotel, gentlemen.
Yep, I looked it up.
Yeah.
I can only find Ocean View.
All right, I found it, John. The Ocean Breeze Motel is real, but it's now called the Cinema Motel. Cinema, motel, hotel, Holiday Inn. $106 a night and 15 miles from the airport.
Nice.
Meaning, you really can have sweet dreams, my LAX.
Oh, beautiful.
There you go. That's what you're tuning in for. listeners.
Let me give you another pound. Hold on.
I did find another Vista View Apartments though.
All right, okay.
The 1865 Avocado Drive. I thought they made it up. I actually Google Maps it, it's true.
Is that Avocado Drive? Is that not a Lighthouse Family song? Yeah, jeez. Sidney and Rhonda are looking at a house in this better area. I love, by the way, how they're dressed in like the best Sunday clothes. He's got this long sleeve polo shirt on, buttoned up to the top button wanker.
Yeah.
He says, I can get another job. And she's like, look, you've got loads of jobs already. Roofing, installing cable, something else. And then he's like, hey,
the tile thing.
the basketball. The basketball will
Basketball's
help
for
pay
pay.
for this. And you're kind of like, mate, don't do this. Next day on the court, they're gambling $1,700. Now, there's some really good stuff here where he says, oh, I don't know, I think I've got 1,000 here. And then he goes down his Lycra pants, doesn't he? I've got $200 here. I'm like, mate, just make it $1,500. I don't want that $200. Do not want that.
Give that a sniff.
Yeah. This big guy grabs the cash. He's like, I ain't going nowhere. No, baby, he ain't going nowhere. The bakery ain't open yet. He's perfect. And you know what? I used to use that line all the time until I was probably about 18, when I wasn't a big fat bakery man. The boys get well beat. Now, I didn't understand why the line was here, but the line is, both y'all go back to SeaWorld.
Yeah, I even looked that up and I thought, is that a reference I'm missing? But I just it's nothing,
Couldn't
is it?
find a thing.
It's just
Couldn't find a thing. Billy has to tell Gloria that he's lost everything they have. Again. Just awful character. So it gives us our first idea that he's shit. When he gets back, she says, 39 is the answer. What is the question? How many books in the Old Testament? Foods that start with the letter Q, which she's very excited about that one. And that'll come back. Chekhov's letter Q. Chekhov's food starting with the letter Chekhov's quints. And he admits he lost every penny. He explains he's beat better guys in Brooklyn and that Sidney wasn't that great. And she said, you got hustled by Sidney. Now watching this I've watched it twice this week, but watching this for the first time again, I was like, fuck, I don't remember Sidney hustling them at all. Like, I don't remember that.
That's about I remember.
Yeah, it did take me a few watches, I think, before I realised what was going on. I don't know why.
It's a great twist. It really is. She makes him get on the bus to Crenshaw to get the money back. He says, men don't ask for the money. If you lose, you lose. They arrive. Rhonda answers the door and says, your husband stole $1,700 from my boyfriend. So, well, you better come in. Shh, keep it down. We're likely to get robbed round here. Which she doesn't say, but, you know. The boys are in the crib watching the NBA. He said, we had a partnership and you fucked me. Sid says, you either smoke or you get smoked. He said, there's ethics to hustling. I don't think there is ethics to hustling. At no point did Paul Newman ever teach me, or Tom Cruise, that there's ethics to hustling. Gloria and Rhonda talk. You're not getting the money back. She says, teammates can't hustle one another because it's not artistic. She says, I just care about getting out of the Vista View apartments. Gentlemen, why does she want to get out of the Vista View apartments?
Because it's shit.
Or more details, because there ain't no Vista, there ain't no view, and there sure as hell ain't no Vista Reviews.
That's good.
Which makes fuck all sense whatsoever. But it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It looks like every hotel you see in bloody Training Day, doesn't it?
It looks like I think I've rented a place like that in GTA. I think is what's going on there. Absolutely.
While the boys are all talking and arguing, they get distracted by the Lakers. James Worthy scores, and they all get very excited. James Worthy, 7-time NBA All-Star. In 1990, he was arrested for 2 counts of solicitation of prostitution in a sting operation.
Wow.
Charlotte Hornets sting operation.
He was wearing the jacket. That's what gave it away. You fool.
Damn it.
Oh, there you go.
We learned that Billy owes money to the Stuckies and they got him to throw a game. He didn't and they lost a lot of money. Rhonda explains, maybe it's Billy it's your boyfriend that's the problem. The girls explain to our boys that they have a plan to make the money back, and so we go to the tournament. Now, it's probably my favourite bit is the tournament stuff, especially because Billy is going nuts throughout. Absolutely shite-talking everybody throughout the whole thing. They say the only people they need to worry about are Willie and Dwight the Flight Hope. Hope he's still not flying in America in 2025 because I don't fancy his chances. The skies are perilous. Billy shouts over and calls them chumps. He says, that Z in your head, what are you, Black Zorro? And then the line is, there's so much to unpack here. Hey, Opie Taylor looking motherfucker, go back to Maybury and tell Aunt B to have my bean pies ready. The whole lot. I did the whole lot, gentlemen. You'll be disappointed to hear. Opie Taylor, fuck me, this is something. The son of Andy Griffith's character on the Andy Griffith Show in the 60s, played by, unbelievably, Ickle Baby Ron Howard.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I'm going down to Emmett's Fix-It shop to fix Emmett. There you go. There's your Charles Bronson impression for the show. And Simpsons reference in one. Tick and tick. Bean pies, originally introduced as an alternative to certain soul food dishes in the black community, bean pies aim to steer people away from sweet potatoes, as advised by the Honourable Elijah Muhammad. The respect for Islamic dietary teachings is particularly evident during Ramadan. And yes, it's beans in a pie.
What more could you want?
I mean, yeah.
No beans in a pie, I guess.
Gonna go and make them. This guy, by the way, that is insulting, the big guy, is a guy called Nigel Patrick Miguel, the actor. And I think he's my most interesting person in this whole thing. Actually a baller. He was once the 3rd round draft pick for the Nets. The Nets. He was in American History X, which is a film we will never, ever do, listeners. Right? So, no matter how much you ask. He was also in one episode of Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Oh, great. Love that.
How did I know Dan would appreciate that fact?
I bloody love that show.
So did I. But that's not all. He was a technical advisor on 1996's Space Jam, which, of course, is the one and only Space Jam movie that was ever made.
Yep.
But this is the fact of the show for me. The Belize government appointed Miguel as its first goodwill ambassador to the United States in 1994. He was tasked with promoting jobs to the youth of Belize and encouraging US companies to establish branch offices and franchises in the country. In 2008, the government elevated Miguel to film commissioner for the government of Belize to promote and enhance the country's film industry locally and abroad.
Wow.
That's
I mean, ain't seen a lot of films from Belize that I know of.
No. I saw him in one film and I thought, this guy can do it all. Get him in. Get him in.
They went, hang on, he was hanging with Mr. Cooper. He's got to hang with us. It's going on here. There's this line, I think it's something along the lines, I looked at basketball player in the dictionary and it said not you. It's pretty good. Dan, I looked at podcaster in the dictionary, it said not you. There you go, man. That's some fucking front, isn't it? You've been doing it longer than we have. Sid asks what he's doing. He says, I'm making them mad and most guys don't play good mad. He says, well, you're making me mad. He says, and I assume you play better when you're mad, which is it's great logic. It's really good logic. They make their way through the games no problem. And Billy's great in this scene as well. Sid pulls him aside and warns him not to make the guys that are about to play mad. He says, I need this $5,000 and you aren't going to ruin it for me. The game starts and it's really bad-tempered. The guy running it, the big fat commissioner guy's like, stop them before we lose our sponsors. Now, the line here is from this this flight guy. Have you ever been to flight school? ? I'm taking you to the 7th floor to drop you off on the 5th. Anybody know what that's about?
No idea with that one.
What? For the final point, there's some really good skills. And the line from the blokes as they run down, let's just pay them and get the hell out of here. They get their checks and trophies. They want the big permanent trophy, but instead they get some smaller ones and a giant comedy check. Yeah. Which, of course, I would really like. £7.31 for a giant comedy check on eBay.
Bargain, that is. That's all right.
Can we get one for the charity walk, John?
Aye.
We'll walk around with this massive comedy check under our arm.
I'm going to buy one for you, and I'll pay for it with a check. Don't worry.
Oh! Checkception. Nice. Heading home, Sidney tells Billy that he can't stuff it up. Oh, he can't stuff it up. He can't stuff it, i.e. dunk. He bets his half of the winnings that they can dunk 1 in 3. Now, the big thing here is that Sid does not want to do this.
Yeah.
Sid's trying to get himself out of his situation, but there's obviously a relationship here. He doesn't want to get himself into this. So they stop, and he bets his half of the winnings. He can dunk 1 in 3. He misses one. He's like, is this shit regulation? He's looking at the hold on and I'll check it for you. And he jumps and pulls himself up through the hoop. And he's like, yeah, I think it's regulation. Sid wants to give him the chance to get out of the bet after pumping his shoes, which I like.
Did you see what they was wearing though?
No.
This confused me. So there was a pair of Nikes.
Rachel said that. Rachel said they were Nikes.
I didn't think Nikes. Yeah, but
apparently she said you do. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So Nike did a pair of pump trainers. The ones that Woody had on were called Air Command Force 2nd generation. So they done 3 sets of pumps. Because Reebok brought them out, they got in the market. So they only bought a couple, but they're worth.
Did you have some?
Thousands.
You must have had some. No?
I had Reebok pumps. I didn't think for a second there was Nike.
No, I had no idea.
No,
they didn't do pumps in LA gear. I don't know why. Or British Knights.
British Knights.
British Knights, baby. He tries and fails 3 times. He tells him, doesn't he? He says, "Listen, Billy, white men can't jump."
Well done.
Love it.
So Joe Fontenberry is believed to have performed the first ever dunk in 1936.
Ooh. Good luck with Gloria. Oh, great, who's got this? Rhonda and Sidney celebrate with wine. Nice fizzy wine, lovely. Gloria sat at home drinking wine out of the bottle with a pizza.
And a pizza.
Billy walks past a shop and sees a dress in the window that he picks for her. She's not pleased, but he gives her the dress which she loves.
Does she?
Well, she makes out she does.
Yeah, first she's got a second.
But then,
that is a joke.
When he admits he lost the money again, she's like, it happened again. He's like, he's like, yeah, I am really awful. And he's saying, oh, it happened again. She's like, there is no it. It was you. You are it. You happened again, Billy. And he says, Jeopardy isn't going to call. When are you going to realise that? I'm kind of like, don't make this about her.
Oh,
yeah, no need for that. Come on.
I liked the line of, the wine's all warm. It's red. Obviously, I can't do it, Dan, because I'm not a comedy mimic like you.
We can't all do it, can we?
I know, absolutely. She packs up. How many moons has Pluto and what's a quince? come to that. He chases her and manages to knock the candles over, setting the room on fire. Again, I assume because she's done a lot of drinking vodka throughout, I kind of went over, ignored that bit.
Hey, that comes to nothing as well.
Yeah, the Stolichnia, though, that's a great vodka.
It's only recently when I'm watching it again that I think, has Billy got a gambling problem, which I'd never thought before?
No.
And two, has she got an alcohol problem, which I didn't really think about these things.
None of them come to anything. No. The drinking one certainly doesn't come to anything.
No.
It's funny, isn't it? It's like just half. There's like these great ideas, all lead to now.
Yeah.
He runs to put it out, and she hitches a ride with this pervert in a truck. By the way, where are you going, honey?
Get in with the pigs.
Can't trust a pig with watermelons, you know. Not the first time I've made that reference on this podcast.
Yeah, no shit.
Billy going to catch her and gets punched by the stays. You can run, but you can't hide. The great Joe Lewis said that, and I'm like, no, he didn't. Be fucking stupid. Joe Lewis said when facing Billy Conn, who was lighter and planned to rely on speed and movement, he famously responded, he can run, but he can't hide. And of course, gentlemen, Joe Lewis was 137 years old.
Joe Lewis.
Joe Lewis. Every time. Why is it every time white man mentions boxing, it's Joe Lewis?
That's such a great scene. I love it.
The time I met Frank Sinatra. You ain't met no Frank Sinatra.
Rocky Marciano.
Oh, that's it. Every time a white man mentions Rocky Marciano. Mate, we have got to do Coming to America. There's so much good stuff in Coming to America.
The second one's maybe even better.
Will you quit it? Really good role for our man Blade, though. There's a couple of things here. So, she says, she's upset because it's $5,000, which is $11,247 today. You understand why she's upset.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. One of the questions she asked, where was the hamburger invented at? Which I'm kind of like, okay, possibly English isn't your first language, ? But that's not okay. Hamburg, Germany claims to be the birthplace of the hamburger, as the name suggests. However, in 1758, Hannah Glass's The Art of Cookery, made plain and easy, catchy title, included a recipe for hamburger sausage to be served with toasted bread. Fletcher Davis of Athens, Texas, claimed to have invented the hamburger in the 1880s. He served a burger of fried ground beef patties with mustard and Bermuda onion, which I think is served in shorts, I'm going to assume, between two slices of bread with a pickle on the side. Others say the United States was the first country where two slices of bread and a ground beef patty were combined into a hamburger sandwich. So, gentlemen, in short, we shall never know.
No.
Ich bin ein Hamburger. I'm a Berliner.
Sure, Wimpy for Popeye invented them, though.
Oh, mate, Wimpy in Nottingham only closed a couple of years ago. Gutted.
Too soon.
They strip Billy to his pants and show him pictures of what happened to people who don't pay. They've got this photo album of corpses, which is the most incriminating thing I think I've ever seen.
I know.
And they're just carrying it around in the inside suit pocket. They kick him out of the van, and as they're driving away, it's like, you got a week? And I'm like, that is the worst ADR line I think I've heard in a film in a long time.
Also, this guy, he's owed you money for ages. What makes you think you give him another week? He's not going to get you money. This guy's useless.
No.
He just keeps running a bit.
Again, are we now starting to pick holes in a film we all loved as teenagers?
No,
is that what this is?
No, yet.
Never.
Sidney meets a client for roof tiles. Basically, this client's like, yes, come on, Sidney, or 10 minutes late. Like, proper waspy character, isn't it? He says $300 to get started, and the guy writes him a check.
You know when Sidney pulls up in the car and all the people gather around his car?
Yeah.
What was that about?
So that's kind of day workers. So that's like illegal immigrant day workers.
I thought he was just a fan of Blade or something.
Like an entourage.
How do they know it?
They just seen Demolition Man, the early cut.
And they were like, pay your taxes, you'll go to jail, man.
Please, yeah. We're desperate to see more of you. Pay your taxes. Yeah. Don't do Blade 3 when you don't give a shit. Don't keep your sunglasses on all the time because you refuse to wear those contacts. No, it's kind of like they're like day workers, and obviously there's one guy.
Daywalkers.
Daywalkers. It's Blade.
Oh my god, it's taking a twist.
I know.
Yeah.
What's your boggle? What's your boggle? Still funny, man.
It's so funny. Billy arrives and tells Sid he's desperate, and he says he needs money to get Gloria back. Sidney explains he has a soft spot for Billy, and that he has an idea of how they can get her back. They go and chat with Robert, this guy. He does all the game shows on his lot. He's security. And Sidney's asking for a favour to get Gloria onto Jeopardy. He says, I'll give you one shot. If you make it, Gloria is on. But if you miss it, then I'm having your car. And he's like, yeah, I can make that shot from there. And he's looking at this basketball hoop, and it's got the Ghanaian flag on the backboard, hasn't it? And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And he's like, no, you're hitting it from Somalia or something. I'm like, fuck me. That's a lot further than Ghana. And he turns around, and it's basically halfway down the fucking court, isn't he? Yeah. He shoots and he makes it. Nothing but net. Mm-hmm. What it made me think of, in particular, this bit, was the bit out of Alien Resurrection. Sigourney Weaver hits that shot in the first thing, and they had to cut it really early because they got Ron Perlman like laughing because he couldn't believe it. And then they apparently
and he swore as well.
Yeah, and then they had to do it again. It's like the kids watching One-Eyed Willie's Willie or whatever in Goonies.
Aye, I think we've done it as well. What's his name? Kurt Russell. Did he
really?
So he made all these shots and they made that last throw.
Should we do Escape from LA just for laughs?
I'm alright, mate. Yeah.
I think it's much better than anyone gives it credit for. It's just got really shit CGI.
It's that CGI. See if we could just remaster it and take that whole bit out. They'd be laughing.
Number one.
What it made me think of, this security guard can apparently just get her on a game show.
Yeah.
Not really sure how that works. He's a security guard. But I was kind of recently on a game show, and it wasn't that easy. So if anyone knows a security guard, let me know, because I need to get back on TV.
What were you on, QI?
Yes.
You could be in the egg. You could be in Eggheads now that old boy's died.
Oh yeah, I'll take over from him. Yeah. I'll do it naked. Naked attraction meets Eggheads. That's what the people want.
Naked.
Egg balls. Eggs in a sack. We get a smash cut to Jeopardy with the people that are on with her: an English teacher, a rocket scientist, and a former disco queen. I'm kind of like, what?
I know.
What? What have I missed here? No one ever mentioned before or after that she was a former disco queen.
There's so many layers to her. So many layers.
I'm here
like
for it.
Like an onion.
And here's the host, Alex Trebek.
Hey, yep. He's dead.
He is dead. Yeah.
First aired in 1964 with Art Fleming as the host. The very first host.
Oh, the gentleman Fleming. Or the painting style.
Both.
He hosted Jeopardy for 37 seasons, Alex Trebek, that is, from its revival in 1984 until his death in 2020. Interestingly enough, he was contracted until 2022 on his death. I'm going to assume that they didn't make him do it. Like, they bring him out, like...
Well, no.
Like, supported by two men, like Weekend at Alex's. Got him on. For his work on Jeopardy, Trebek received the Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Game Show Host 8 times. 8 times.
Not bad.
Interestingly enough, Noel Edmonds has never won it once.
Criminal, wouldn't it?
No.
It's absolutely. Who hosts it now? Blossom, John. Blossom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Miriam Yellow.
Yeah.
And a chap called Ken Jennings. Ken Jennings, of course, during his initial run, secured a consecutive 74 wins.
Whoa.
Setting the record as the highest earning American game show contestant of all time.
Jesus.
Now, get a load of this. He was also a chaser on the US version of The Chase.
Of course.
With The Beast.
Our Beast?
Beast?
Yeah, Our Beast, yeah. Not Jimmy Savile. The other beast, yeah. Fantastic. Dan, because I know you're a big quiz show fan, you've told us already, I've devised a little mini Jeopardy quiz for you.
Ooh, lovely.
Yeah, and I think you're more than likely to be challenged by this one. I want to make it as difficult as I could for you. So you need to answer, of course, as a question. All right?
Got it.
Okay. So number 1. I helped end apartheid and was the first black president for my nation.
I might even do the voice with you.
I think you should.
Who is Nelson Mandela?
Fantastic. There you go. That's us cancelled.
That's it. Done. Leave my bit in, please.
Lovely. 1 out of 1. Number 2. I had an affair with my boss and wanked off a pig on Channel 5.
Oh, who is Rebecca Luz?
Fantastic. Who indeed is Rebecca Luz?
Never heard of her.
Number 3. I pay my ex-wife £440,000 a year whilst I sit in my shed drinking shots when famous people die.
Oh, the lovely Debbie McGee? Is it Debbie McGee?
Oh, it isn't. It isn't. It's who is Ray Parlour?
Oh,
but I would have also accepted who is the Romford Palais.
A legend.
Number 4. In 2000, I spent a year on a Scottish island with a dinner lady, a bloke in a Rod Stewart wig, and had a badger thrown at me by some chap out of the SAS. I was a host on a TV show with John Craven that rhymes with paedophile.
Who is Ben Fogle?
Correct. Fantastic. And if you like that stuff, get on Hallmark of Greatness, because we're doing Castaway 2000 at the moment, from the start to the fucking bitter end.
Fuck off, really?
Mate, we're on episode 2 at the minute.
It's got a chunk into your life,
Mate,
innit?
well, you've got to watch them. They are brilliant. They're the best things that I've ever seen on TV. And finally, number 5, Dan. This Canadian has got a hotline bling and is worth $250 million.
Boo! Who is Drake?
Oh, sorry, Dan. I was looking for what is a nonce.
Oh,
It's a shame.
So close.
It's a shame.
Close.
But well done.
that's a
3
shame.
out of 5.
I'll be back next week.
Bow, 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 bow. Yeah, there you go. Bearing in mind, I wrote that all based on what is a nonce, and then I had to work my way backwards. I was particularly pleased with the Rebecca Luz one, and I said to Rachel with about 20 minutes left tonight, I need to think up some more famous people. So think like mid-tier, year 2000, like mid-2000s people. And she went, I've got the perfect one. How about Rebecca Luz? I'm like, I've just written that. Like,
Wow.
we both came up with Rebecca Luz as
You're in
mid-tier.
sync, aren't you?
Great.
Oh. No, that's a boy band. She gets Wilt Chamberlain mixed up with Babe Ruth, which I think's pretty good. Wilt the Stilt, didn't she? Mixed up with Babe Ruth. But then she goes on this massive run. What is a quail? What is a quiche? What is a quahog? And I learned that a clam is a quahog. I thought it was the town that Peter Griffin's from. Yeah, I'm adding that to the list because I didn't know that before this. And what is a quince? What is a quince indeed? Ripe quince fruits are hard, tart, and astringent. They are eaten raw or processed into jam, quince cheese, or alcoholic drinks.
Did it taste Quincy? Quincy Jones!
No, I was actually thinking about Quincy MD.
Oh, I think it was, that's right, the Afternoon Detective
Indeed.
series.
She's ahead with 5,100. But she's also really good at popes and world history. I was going to do what Pope is dead, but he might be dead by the time this comes out.
Don't.
He's not well, is he? Not well. And I loved, my favourite answer was, what is Australia? And I've just written, what is Australia indeed?
Also, she says at one point, what is Vesuvius instead of Mount Vesuvius?
Oh, she does, yeah. And they have to go and check with the Susie Dent in the bloody book corner, don't they?
Apparently that wasn't scripted. She just got it wrong, and Alex just rolled with it, and they kept it in like that.
Oh, wow. I love that. That's the kind of thing I'm well into when it comes to films. Billy goes in to see Gloria after the recording. By the way, he tries to barge past this woman who says he doesn't want to see him. And I don't think she's an actor. I think she's off the show because she screams out. She doesn't want to see you. Fuck me. He sings and plays guitar for her. He's not great, but he says, I'll never bring you water when you're thirsting in our bed. I understand dry-mouthedness and sympathise instead. 8 out of 10.
That's quite
I
good,
mean,
isn't
I've
it?
never written a song for a woman, so what do I know?
So it turns out he can play guitar though.
All right, okay.
Apparently in 2019 when he was visiting a guitar shop in Camden Town, he jammed with the owner.
Camden Town. I'll meet you by
Camden
the
Town.
underground, as Suggs sang. Yeah. She does take him back, and they bump uglies in the hotel room that she's being put up in. Things are going very well. Billy explains he knows he needs to think about getting on with his life. She gives him $2,000 to get some new clothes for job interviews.
No shit, eh?
Fucking right. She wants him to aim high, but he's worried he'll do something stupid with the money. And we're like, you don't say.
Yeah. And this is the point I thought, this guy's got a problem. Here we go.
Yeah.
Back at the Vista View, Sid has been robbed. They even nicked the baby's cot. Bastards. I mean, it's a shithole in fairness, but folk have got to live somewhere. I mean,
Yeah, come on,
Middlesbrough. Rhonda tells Sidney she wants a job, and he's going to figure out how to get them moved. Gloria and Billy are planning for the future. She's planning $12,000 a week. $80,000 will get them enough money for her to start acting classes. Fucking dear at acting classes.
No shit.
Maybe just get a job. Have you considered that? Or wait some tables.
Start dancing again?
Yeah, go back to disco dancing or whatever.
Well,
got the moves.
it's 1992 at the time, so if disco record sales continue at this level, hey. Sid arrives and explains they need $2,500 to pay the king and duck. And Billy goes, I've got 2,000, but like out of fucking nowhere, I got $2,000. Like he's so excited, and you're like, mate, just fucking step back. And then he goes, oh no, hang on, it's Gloria's money. And Sidney says this could give him the chance to move next week. Gloria explains he promised her, but then explains he promised Sidney too. She says, gamble the money, and she's out. He says, I will guarantee victory. In fact, we will guarantee victory, won't we, Sidney? And he looks and goes, no. He just fucking look. She kisses him, says goodbye, and roller skates away. With a brand new Walkman on, by the way.
Well, tries to, because she's fucking terrible roller skater, because she nearly failed.
Should have been that Jesus man from the beginning of the podcast.
Exactly, Harry Perry.
He really is. For me, at this point, I'm like, you had every opportunity in this relationship. You are just as bad as that time that you let Demi Moore sleep with Robert Redford for $1 million. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a film, Dan. A film.
Right. Okay.
Cinematic release. Yeah.
I'll get round to that one.
Okay. Great. At the game, they get the result with Billy dunking the final point, proving that indeed white men can jump.
Get in.
Yeah.
Why, John?
Why are they lying?
Why indeed?
Motherfudger.
When Billy arrives back at the hotel room, she's gone. But that's fine, because Sidney gets to have a lie down on the bed.
I know.
He's just like, fuck it, mate. He says, I finally didn't lose the money.
Listen to the women.
I doubled the money and I got it wrong. And as he says, I have 4 words to you, listen to the woman. It's like, no, I listened to you because you begged me. And he's like, yeah, well, you should have listened to the woman.
Don't listen to me.
You said I owed you. So, on this, right, he says I doubled the money, but he didn't. He wins his money back and makes $2,500 for Sid.
Mm-hmm. So in effect,
the guy is not clever. The guy is not smart at all.
Well, that's what came across the end. I think he's just. I don't think his character's meant to be all there, because the fact that she says, "Don't do it," and then he's like, "Okay, I'll be back. I'll win it. I'll get." And look, has a conversation as if she's all right with it. It's like, it's a bit weird.
Outside the hotel, Billy's confronted by the gangsters. He gives them his winnings and poses for photos as a corpse with the little bloods down that you would do when you were a vampire for Halloween. And
then he hands him a napkin, didn't he?
Yeah. And Billy played a cadaver in Prime Suspect.
What?
Billy says to Sid, he's got to get a job. Can you get me a job? He says, you got any references? Yeah, how about you? And then he says, how did you know if I put that past that I'd slam it? He says, even the sun shines on a dog's ass sometimes. Nice. I think that was probably Confucius said that one. He says, but if you put a cat in an oven, it doesn't make it a biscuit. What?
What? Nah,
I'm going to try that. Colin is currently asleep, but when he wakes up, he's going in the oven. That is not happening, listeners. That is not happening. I would never do that to my cat. Not to that particular cat, anyway. And that's the movie, lads. We got to have more, have we? We got more?
Yeah. I'll let the guest go first.
At the beginning, Sydney says you can bring Bernard King out here. It doesn't matter. We're going to
All
score
right.
2 points and it'll be over. Bernard King, known as one of the most explosive scorers of his generation, played in the NBA from 1977 to 1993. But Americans say the word Bernard wrong. It's Bernard, not Bernard.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, right, Bernard.
And 5 years after this film, on Jeopardy, there was a round, foods that start with the letter Q.
No.
And Alex Trebek said, if you've ever watched the movie White Men Can't Jump, you'll know about this round.
Oh, cool.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's me.
Fantastic. John?
Rafa Alston and DeLone West are two famous basketball players who started streetball and now they started playing for the NBA Jam. West turned to drugs and died. There you go.
Oh,
Cheery end.
You're welcome. Basketball was invented in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1891 by Canadian-American phys ed instructor James Naismith. Naismith credits his Scottish heritage for helping him develop the game.
Oh, you had to get that in there, didn't you?
Absolutely. Shoe on.
Shut up and drink your iron brew. Shut up and drink your iron brew.
They first invented the game by throwing a haggis through a hole.
The 3-point line is situated 23 feet 9 inches away from the basket, but the corners are 22 feet away. I didn't know that. And basketball nets are made from nylon, polyester, plastic, or chain, but it all depends on the weather conditions. That's it.
Fantastic. The chain ones are always the best, aren't they?
Oh,
above the rim with Tupac Shakur. There's a good basketball film from the 90s. It's also a heist movie. There you go. Tupac.
Basketball Diaries.
I don't know that's the same. William McKinley, the 25th President of the United States, was shot on the grounds of the Pan American Exposition in the Temple of Music in Buffalo, New York on September the 6th, 1901. This, of course, is Who Shot President McKinley, wasn't it? This was 6 months into his second term. He was shaking hands with the public when anarchist Leon Kozowska shot him twice in the abdomen. He died on September the 14th of gangrene caused by the wounds. Ooh. He is the third American president, or at the time was, to be assassinated following Abraham Lincoln in 1865 and James A. Garfield on a Monday in 1881. Garfield really does hate Mondays.
He hates them, doesn't he?
Louisiana College team, because Billy mentioned he was at Louisiana. He was in a Louisiana College team. The LSU has won a total of 11 conference championships and 1 conference tournament championship since becoming a founding member of the Southeastern Conference in 1933. Yeah, that's everything I've got. So, Dan, while I tot them up, do you want to have a bit of a guess about how you think we got on?
I think it's been a solid episode, a solid effort all round, but have we hit 100? I'm not sure. I'm actually going to go a little low, 89.
Dan, 88. One over. One over.
Good effort.
There you go, 88. Jesus. There you go. But not bad, not too shabby at all.
Yeah.
At all. Fantastic work, gentlemen. Dan, tell us once again where we can find you and your brother, who I'm not going to say we like more, but I'm going to say probably has seen more films.
Yeah, he's definitely seen more films. He's generally a more likeable person, I'd say. So join us.
Fucking hell, mate. Jesus Christ.
Find us on Be There With Belson, wherever you get your podcast, your socials. Be There With Belson.
That's right. Bean pie with Belson.
Be there with the Wilsons or something.
Yes, well, yeah, I mean, the time has come for me to fucking call out the people that pay us money, and I'm bound to fuck that shit up again, as I always do. What would absolutely help, though, is if I actually had all the names of the people.
You can do it for memory.
You'd think so at this point, but the amount of times that I missed fucking Mono and Kira out at one point, they never forget me. Right, fantastic. So, mucho thank you to James and Joe from Hallmark of Greatness, Lee Davies, Candy, Oodles, Stig, Biggie, and Gadget from Modern Escapism. Kieran Corrigan, next week's choice person, Jake, who has picked what, John? Kroll.
Kroll.
Who has picked what, John?
Oh, it's Jake picked Krull.
Yay!
That's good, isn't it?
Fucking-
I heard he had. I knew that. Yeah.
Rumours. Lovely Rob Jones, Jen, Megan, Dale, and Ali. Maria, Paul Parks, SP Film Viewers, Ian McComish, Nigel Davis from the Wonder Emporium, Dan Belson, some prick, Aaron Huggett from the Z1 Podcast, Joe from Hallmark of Greatness, Mono and Kira from Mono Rants at the Movies, Ian Graham from Cult Connections, Gav McGill, Gavin Belson,
Legend. Legend.
Josh Wilson from Super Familiar with the Wilsons. Yes, I did it.
Yeah, boy.
Rachel Plant and Phil Faish, who sent me a message the other day saying, "Oh, I've always really, really wanted to watch Nosferatu, but I've heard you doing the podcast now and I don't need to." That's not how this podcast works, listeners.
Yeah.
Go away and watch the film and then listen to what we're doing.
Then
So,
listen to it, yeah,
Phil,
definitely.
no Phil, bad Phil, down. Yeah. But anyway, look, that's what we've got. You know what we're covering next week? We're coming on to talk about Krull.
Krull.
What? Cool. You should have said.
Oh, not the Crow. Krull.
The Krull.
Krull. The Krull.
It can't have one of those spinny weapons every day or whatever the fucking. Anyway,
no,
yeah. John, say something nice or don't say anything at all.
Well, I'll just let the listeners know that the preparation for the walk
Oh
is going
shit!
well.
Yeah, we're doing that, aren't we? I forgot about that.
I nearly killed myself on Saturday, but yeah, it's all good. My legs are back to normal.
Fantastic. You need some.
We went-
you need some
we went
polls,
a-
and I'm not talking about the
No,
nation.
exactly.
The nation of people.
We didn't realise we went for a mid walk, but turns out it's advanced, and you do need walking poles for it. So yeah,
It's because you went walking up a hill that had loads of scree. That's the problem. Last thing you need is some scree.
But no, it's going well. It's going well. I'm enjoying it. So.
Yeah, we are.
I'm just
Oh,
motivating
Jesus
myself.
Christ, we are less than. We're like 2 months and a week away. Jesus, I better get back on the old training. Fantastic. Yeah, so again, give us a couple of quid. Just go to 100 things we learn from film.co.uk, and the link is at the very, very top. We've moved everything down to put this link at the top. We're currently on about 1,100 quid for James and Teesside Hospice. So do dig deep, please, because we'll be digging deep, and I'll be having to listen to John Mither all day about having to walk 25
I
miles.
will be singing the Proclaimers all the way there and all the way back.
Yeah, dig deep so I can find something to pierce my
Earphones.
eardrums with, please. That would be great. But for now, he's been Dan, he's been John, I've been Planty, and this has been 88 things we learned from mothers and astronauts. See ya.
Bye.
See you guys.